Now, last week, Kamala Harris was deploring the European explorers who first landed in North America using a virtual address at the National Congress of American Indians 78th Annual Convention to claim Joe Biden's Build Back Better agenda will do much to ameliorate the damage she attributes to mass migration.
Okay.
So she's been bashing our history. Here's what she said. The explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations.
Okay.
Like there was no devastation going on. Everything was peaceful and calm and beautiful.
Yes.
With the natives here. They were in love with one another. They were always at peace with one another.
Yep.
They didn't ever hurt even a fly. If a fly came, they'd pet it. If it landed, they'd pet the fly.
The fly let them pet them?
Yeah, well, because it knew it wouldn't be hurt.
Wow.
And so they were allowed to pet the flies that landed on them.
So like the Indian guy would be like at the stream, you know, cupping his hand with water, and he'd look across the way at the other tribe, and there'd be another Indian guy drinking water, and he'd just wave like, "Hey, buddy!"
Yeah.
And then
he'd be like, "Dude,
right?
How's your day going?"
Right. And
so far,
right.
He'd be like a 7-Eleven clerk. How's your day going so far? Yeah, it was like that with the tribes, with the various
And then
tribes.
what happened? Tell me what happened next.
They never
fought, never argued.
Never
because,
argued.
I mean, they had the stream.
Never raised their voices to one another.
Well, except for, Pat. Okay. Except for when they had to yell across the stream here.
Yeah, just to be heard over the rushing water.
Exactly.
That's the only time.
The only time they ever yelled at one another, and it was like you said, just to project.
Yes.
And then what happened? Whitey McWhiteface showed up on the scene?
And then Whitey McWhiteface.
Wow, Christopher Columbus into town.
And his killers that came in and killed people.
Wow.
The murdering murderers who murdered.
So the way it all went down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Indian dude's drinking, right?
Yeah.
Other Indian dude waving back at him.
And then all of a sudden.
Well, he yells at him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Whoa, why are you yelling, bro?" He's like, "I'm saying look behind you.
Look behind you. Somebody's got a smallpox blanket and they're about to throw it on your back.
No.
Don't let them throw the smallpox blanket on you."
No.
And they did, but it was too late. The rushing water was too loud.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
Man, you gotta drink at a quieter part of the river.
Right.
People don't realize that's why all the tribes were taken over.
That's right.
Because they were drinking at a loud part of the river.
Everything was so beautiful and pristine. And then Whitey came.
I believe today's the day YouTube pulls the plug on this channel. Officially.
Why? We're telling the truth here. We're truth tellers.
It's just history, man.
That's just history.
And at the end of the day, YouTube, we agree with you. Whitey McWhiteface showing up on the scene.
Ruined everything.
Destroyed the world.
Bastards. Ruined everything.
I swear.
Since 1934, every October, the United States has recognized the voyage of European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas, according to Harris. But that's not the whole story. That's never been the whole story. Here's more. Those explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations, perpetrating violence, stealing land, and spreading disease.
Yep.
On purpose, of course. We must not shy away from this shameful past.
Yep.
And we must shed light on it and do everything we can to address the impact of the past on Native communities today. Exactly right.
I'm glad someone's saying it.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What other nation on earth does this all the time? Or ever, for that matter? Is there anyone else on this planet that continually bemoans what a crappy country they are? When in fact, it's the greatest nation in the history of the world, in our case. But do you ever hear Brits saying, "Geez, we instituted slavery in all our colonies all over the world. We're just evil"? Do you ever hear China saying, "Wow, we're really terrible on human rights"? And not just in the distant past either. Right now, this second, we are the worst country in the world on human rights. No, you don't hear that. This is the only nation on earth where our leaders, our so-called leaders, talk about what a garbage country we are every chance they get.
Yeah. And she said since 1934, I'd like to point out in 1934, we had a Democrat president, a Democrat House, and a Democrat Senate that made this horrifically racist federal holiday.
Columbus Day. Yeah, Columbus Day. What a horrible, horrible day that was. And is.
Democrats gave us that.
Thank you for Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yeah, that's much better.
Much better. Because, again, they were just peaceful and wonderful. Never did anything wrong. So.
I mean, unless you consider drinking near the loud part of the stream wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe incorrect. We won't call them wrong. Just a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what.
You know, they could have used a bullhorn. That's what they could have used.
Yep.
So that the other side would be able to hear them, and then they could have jumped out of the way of the smallpox blanket.
Yes.
That Columbus was throwing on them. Or trying to, anyway.
Dang.
Bastard. All right, well, I think we fixed it.
Yep.
I think we fixed everything today. So
I like history. I like giving history lessons, don't you?
I do. Love it.